Hi, welcome back to another tier list video. Today I'm going to be doing ENFPs and their abilities tier ranked. So first of all, attention span, I'm going to put straight into D tier because it is literally one of the most frustrating things when dealing with ENFPs. As soon as they get the slightest bit of boredom, they'll just like switch off completely. And yeah, this means
You
you
have to
have to
constantly
constantly
try
try
and
and come up with ways to like engage them and like keep them involved in whatever conversation. Otherwise, they'll just switch to a more interesting thing. It can be helpful for them trying to like not stick to a pointless task, which can be helpful sometimes. Other types can do that, but generally speaking, these types just take that to the extreme, and that's why I'm going to have to go through these quite quickly just to like make sure ENFPs don't get too bored easily. Next, energy. Honestly, one of my favorite parts about ENFPs, they just they have a vibe that to them that just like brings the whole room's like energy levels just up, just by being themselves as well. Just the atmosphere around them just gets so much more fun and exciting and entertaining whenever you have an ENFP present. And yeah, that's why it's an S tier, because not only is it great for this type, but anyone else around them can just immediately get a sense of that energy and enjoy it. Uniqueness, I'm going to put A tier because ENFPs, they really are completely unlike any other type in the sense that they are within even their own type. You can see two ENFPs and they're completely different to each other. This is because they have that extroverted intuition of really seeing all the possibilities and wanting to do things that haven't been tried before. And then also they have that introverted feeling of they really want to forge their own identity and be themselves, which is part of the reason that energy is so strong because of this uniqueness. And yeah, they just have such a sense of individuality, and that is one of the amazing things about them, which is why I hate it. Creativity, I'm going to put this in beta. It is quite cool to see an ENFP being able to just be creative with the things they do, especially with the extroverted intuition when they can just come up with all these amazing things that you haven't thought about before. But the problem is, on its own, a lot of this creativity gets quite wasted. A lot of the things that they sort of can come up with don't necessarily tend to be that useful, is the other thing. But yeah, it's kind of cool, can sometimes lead to useful things, but won't necessarily be that useful on its own. So it's beta, could go either way. Distraction, I'm going to put it in a CETA. They can get quite easily distracted, which can go back into their attention span being quite short and them getting bored easily. But you can also flip this ability around, and actually, if you're looking for a distraction or like you don't want to stick to a task, an ENFP is always going to be able to provide you an alternative, less thing that you want to do. Like if you have a project you really want to do, but then actually it's getting a bit much, you can always ask an ENFP for something better to do. And yeah, they can always provide a distraction. They will also always be distracted. Sometimes I find ENFPs actually end up having to multitask on tasks just so that they can not be distracted from the other task. So they'll have two things they're doing at once just so that they can be distracted and do the other thing. Anyway, ENFP's humor. Yeah, I'd say this is kind of a beta because similar to creativity, it can go either way in it, how useful it is. Sometimes they don't have that much in the sense of being in touch with the sort of general vibe of the room, so their humor can often be quite dark or like unappreciated by other types. So honestly, most ENFP's humor is actually really funny to me, but I find that some types might not really be into their kind of humor, and because they're quite individualistic with their FI rather than caring about the FE vibe of the group, they do generally just stick to their own sense of humor, which might not be for everyone. With INTJs, I put this as almost a joke one. There's this kind of the meme that with ENFPs and INTJs, and I'm gonna put ATA because it kind of ENFPs almost have this ability to unlock a part of INTJs that no other type seems to be able to access. It's like the whole castle and seeing a bounce castle meme. Like an INTJ, everyone else sees their hard exterior, and ENFP is like, ha, INTJ, that's the cute. I don't know. And yeah, they really help us come out of our shell, which is great. Um, but like, it's not S tier because honestly, we're not like as much as ENFPs think we are. So like, they can sometimes try and push that a bit too hard with our INTJ introverted feeling. We just don't really want to share it all the time. And yeah, open-mindedness. This is going to be A tier as well. It's pretty cool. They can talk about pretty much any topic, and they're just willing to go dive in. And yeah, it allows them to try new things as well. But yeah, it's just a useful thing, but also sometimes it can get them into situations where they maybe conversations that people don't want to be having because again they don't have the awareness with the extroverted feeling. They're going to be saying what they want to say, and sometimes that's not necessarily socially appropriate, which is why it's an A tier, because it's not always going to be great. Uh, Friend finding. This is an S tier, honestly. It's amazing. Seeing an ENFP walk into a room and just be able to talk to literally anyone and just, I don't know how they do it. As an introvert, it's crazy to see an ENFP, and sometimes you just sort of tag along and just see them just talking to all the people, and yeah, they can just do it. Although actually, sometimes they will get a bit burnt out if they like are doing it because they don't want to do it. So you won't be able to do it as an ENFP if you don't actually want to talk to people, but they do just have that general energy, enthusiasm of just wanting to go up to everyone, ask them all the questions, and yeah, find out more about them. Idea generation. I'm going to put it in a beta because it's quite similar to creativity in the sense that like not all of the ideas are necessarily good ideas. It can lead to some pretty fun situations, but like you don't want always to go along with the ENFP's ideas. What I do find as an INTJ though is it can be pretty useful for like occasionally an ENFP will come up with a really good idea out of their like massive file ideas, and you're like, how did they come up with that? And it's because they're just generating so many ideas. But yeah, you've got to really be able to distinguish between good ideas and bad ideas for it to be useful. Unpredictable. I'm going to put in a C tier because it's kind of cool that you never really know what you're going to expect with an ENFP. But also, like most of the time, it can get quite annoying when it's like practically like they just a bit chaotic sometimes, and that can be a bit frustrating. Finding introverts, yeah, I'm going to put that in S tier as well. To be honest, similar to the friend finding, but specifically with introverts, they seem to just find introverts and like almost like guide them in the way of life. I don't know. An introvert really can come out of their shell when they're around an ENFP, and that's something I don't know. I've only really seen with this type that they can just take an introvert and just like roll with it, and the introvert will just go along with it as well. And yeah, it is cool. Trying new things. Yeah, I'm going to put it in. I'm actually going to put it in an A tier because it really links in with a lot of the other abilities and is quite important for them. And on its own, it doesn't necessarily bring them too much, but like it allows them to have that open-mindedness and uniqueness and like ideas generation just because they're willing to just go for it. I think as a mentality, and ENFP is like, let's try it, see how it goes, and yeah, they can learn from that and they gain so much experience from that, which they wouldn't otherwise have. And yeah, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I have like quite a few of these other tier list videos you should definitely check out. And yeah, subscribe if you want.